So guys, early September, I'm at Cummich Ponds near Bridgewater in Somerset. Got Clark Adams joining me on this session. As you can see, I'm not fishing yet. Been here for a fair few hours. Had a good walk of the lake. Decided to fish the shallows. It was sunny when we got here, so we were going to do a bit of floater fishing. Cloud come over pretty quick, so I've spotted out a load of bait on one rod to the far margin, and catapulted a fair few boilies out to the middle. So yeah, I'm going to wander around and speak to Clark, and then come back, put a bit more bait out, and get some rods in. Clark's already getting some liners, so it's looking good. There's carp in the area. So yeah, fingers crossed, a few hours, if not by tomorrow morning, should have a carp on the bank. Happy days. Speak to you in a bit. So guys, I've joined Clark over in his swim. He's fishing just to the left of where I am. What do you think of the place, mate?
It's beautiful, mate. It's beautiful. I mean, where we've opted for it's a lot shallower, I'm told. Well, by you anyway. There's a heck of a lot of weed, which would instantly suggest, yeah, this portion of the lake is shallower. And well, yeah, the fish are here. I'm out of my comfort zone a little bit because I'm, seeing fish. I didn't want to put any, marker leads out. Starting to find some clear areas. I've just cast singles essentially at this point. Fishing a lot longer rigs because obviously it's weedy. So I'm gonna say that's something I'm not really too keen on doing. But with it being the first session here, sort of a recce session, it's more just trying to just present. To me, if I'm going to be cast straight into a weed bed, there's no point fishing. So a longer rig should hopefully mean that hook bait's going to settle straight on top and give me the best chance of having a bite.
Yeah, definitely. I'm fishing a bit different. I haven't even put a rod out yet. Just been baiting, trying to get a bit of feeding activity happening out there. Seems to be a bit happening, a few blows here, there and everywhere. A couple of rolls on spots, but yeah, like Clark, a bit out of my comfort zone as I've not put a rod out. I've not leaded, not done anything like that. I've just found a spot in the weed and put bait on it. The only spot I did actually lead is the margin rod, which is on the other bank, and I've spawned out maybe 10, 12 spawns of some particle bait, which from what I've been told is a no-go on here, but I fished it last time and I had a carp, so I'm trying to do stuff different, and it worked last time, so I'm going to keep trying to get a few more on the particle. Fingers crossed it works, but only time will tell. But it's definitely looking good for a bite.
Definitely, mate. And you find a lot of times people say don't use particle. It means people instantly are going to shy off using particle. So using something that people are saying don't use can be a massive advantage because, well, no one else is doing it.
Exactly. That's why I'm doing it. Hopefully it worked. And the more I put out, the more bites I'll get.
And time will tell, mate.
But it's a lovely lake, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's a really mature lake. It's got I've never fished a lake with diafix in it before to kill off the weed, and yeah, it's nice and blue. It almost feels foreign, but yeah,
it's nice.
That's it.
But I'm gonna get some rods out, mate.
Yeah, mate. I was gonna say
I'm getting itchy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be nicer if we can just get some fish on the bank now.
Yeah, I definitely need to put a rod out.
Yeah, you do.
Right, guys. I'll speak to you all in a bit. Hopefully have a fish on the bank. How was your first Cummich carp field, mate?
I mean, there's so much weed in between me and the fish, but it hasn't charged. Every time it's pulling, it's just a nice, slow, hard tug. And he could have a lot of weed around him, but he has been flapping quite some on the surface. I don't think he's too coated. But it's just coming in, sort of not shooting left to right, it's just coming at me, so I think he's hit a weed bed, a real big weed bed now. Still on there.
Ooh, bit too far.
I think there's something in that. At least I bloody hope there is. He's wrapped himself up too much now. Fight. There's a weed bed and a half on it now. See what's going on there.
Oh man.
There's anything left on there, mate. No, there, mate. There's loads. Come on. Oh. Fantastic. No way.
What happened there, Clarky boy?
I had a take. What I believe was a reasonably good fish. Just the way it was tugging. It was just slow thuds. Not consistent, like banging. It was just thud, 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 thud. Bringing the fish in, sort of felt like it had locked itself up in a load of weed and sort of got in halfway. It started thrashing on the surface, right where a weed bed was. Sort of it just went slow. I assumed it hit the weed bed and, you know, just got like a curtain over its head and fucking decided, right, that's it, bedtime. No, brought it in and I'd sort of picked up someone else's main line. Masses of it as well. Picked up two separate patches of weed, and from looking at it, I don't think there is any other rigs or hooks on it, so I think that must have been between me and the fish, playing the fish, and he's just caught into it and that's given him enough to throw the hook. But that's fishing, isn't it, mate? That's the thing with, you know, like fishing a distance to reeds. I mean, it's about, you said it's about 76 yards, 80 yards. If someone went 5 yards further, they'd be straight into the reeds. They'd have to crack off a line, and with how weedy my end is, that line's just going to be just snaking through it and the fish are just going to pick it up. It's unfortunate, but it's part of fishing, and at least the line's out of the water now. As long as that wasn't the only chance, I'm not going to be too disheartened. If it comes to the end of the session, that was the only take, trust me, I'll be spitting and swearing, but for now it's early into the session, so just going to take it as it comes, take it on the chin, and got the rod straight back out there on the spot. So hopefully, speak of the devil, the right rod just beat then, so there we go, they're back out there. Shouldn't be long, let's hope. There we go, 18-pound common carp. Nice consolation fish after losing a chunk earlier on. Taking it about 80 yards off against some reeds. This one was flicked out as a single. It's taking a while to figure out where the fish are going to want to feed, and oh yeah, it's one of them absolute scale perfect fish. It's the immaculate carp. Mint condition mouth. And just well and truly nailed on one of the confidence rigs. Show the other side. There we have it. Absolutely spectacular fish. Taken on a SSK hook bait. Playing around with a few different types of hook baits for it to help them single it out, and yeah, this one certainly did. Let's get him on home.
All yours, mate. Hi guys, just thought I'd show you the rigs that I started off with on this session. The first rig, which is being fished over a bed of particle with some mixed boilies, crumb boilie and some whole boilies, basically the SSK boilie, was this one. Got an inline lead, it's a 1.5 ounce. Then I've got roughly 4 inches of Camotech soft, and I've got a Nash chod twister. I thought when I was tying it, the hook was a bit too soft, wasn't straightening out, wasn't curving round properly, but I thought I'd give it a go. I had a few bites on it, but nothing substantial. So I brought it in and basically I've tied it up again with end trap, which is a bit stiffer, and you can put a bit more of a bend in it like that. But this one just sits a bit too straight, so I had it out for the night, didn't do many fish, wasn't 100% with it, so I've changed it. I'll show you that rig later. So that was my left hand rod. The middle rod was the same rig as Digger Lakes in the last video. Basically 6 inches of end trap, quarter wide gape hook, size 6, and the hair was about 1.5 inches. And on that one I literally just corked out a bottom bait and fished it on its own over a load of boilies. So that's that one. That was nice and simple, just a bit of shrink tube just to kick it round a bit. And the third rod, snowman presentation. So the third rod was a bit of mantis for the hook link, which is quite stiff, and then you strip it back, you got a nice supple section. That was probably 8 inches in length, to a Nash Fang Twister size 6. Fished on a snowman pop-up, snowman rig, and that literally sits just covering the hook. Like that. Now all 3 rigs, I was getting bites on them, but didn't get any proper takes unfortunately. So I've done a few little tweaks. Fingers crossed when it comes to bite time, which I reckon will be about 6-7 o'clock this evening, one of them will get picked up. But I'll show you the rigs I've put out there for today and tonight in the morning, and fingers crossed Carp will be on one of them. Speak to you in a bit. Right guys, went for a walk around with Clark. Toby popped down, he'd come back from the Kong Valley, he's been up there with Ali. He had a couple of nice mirrors up there from 2 different lakes. So we had a walk around, tried to find some fish, as it's gone pretty quiet up here. Get the odd fish showing, but not a lot. Speaking to one of the locals up here, what I thought was gravel bars is more likely to be mussel beds. So I'm a bit happier putting a rig on those. So I've got basically my right hand rod is on one, my middle rod is on one, at 2 different lengths, it's not the same one. And then my left hand rod, I'm persevering with the particle. I'm sure I'll get a bite off of particle, it's just a matter of time. Could probably do it with another 24 hours, but that ain't gonna happen. So yeah, that's what I've found out. We didn't see many carp, we saw some right tight in some reeds that you can't really get to. But yeah, still looks good for a bite, it's nice and overcast. There's the odd fish showing, the odd blow coming up. Whether the blow's a bream or not, I don't know, can't see it in the water, but still looks good. So I'm going to persevere for the remainder of the session, hopefully bag one tonight, and you'll be able to see it. I'm going to wander around, see Clark now, see what he's got to say. So I'm round here with Clarky boy. Not a lot today, mate, is there?
No, a couple of fish shown in the area, but with about 10 fish per acre, you don't expect to see them all day long. A few patches of fizz. That's about what you can go on today. And the swans going from the lines.
Yeah, it's been a pretty quiet day, isn't it?
Not much you can do, but wait, mate.
Yeah, we went for a wander, we didn't see much, did we?
Lakes like this though, mate, you know, it's, like I said, with such a low stock, you could have half the lake's population up this end of the lake for about 48 hours and they'll all move back down into the main body. It's just the nature of carp, isn't it? They like to patrol, keep moving. It's about making the most of when they're there in front of you.
Yeah, man. Well, fingers crossed we'll both get one tonight.
That's it, mate.
Time will tell.
Indeed, a waiting game. There we go.
Right, so the carp ain't showed up, so I thought I'd do a bit of fishing on float with a bit of corn, and I feel sorry for it, but I side hooked a perch right through the anal fin, so it's a cracking little perch actually. Carp. See how dark he is.
I just can't believe,
Like,
mate. You drop sweet corn in the margin in 5 seconds, mate. You side hook a perch.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, I've been baiting this little spot on and off all day with a few little bits and pieces, and I catch a perch which I've just dropped. But yeah, we're getting back and we'll see if we can get some roach. It's now a multi-species challenge video. So, I've got another species, a nice little roach. Bit awkward to hold, not used to holding small fish.
The beast of a roach, mate.
Yeah.
Pushing a pound.
Fin perfect. Look at him, bright red.
It might actually be a rudd, looking at that bottom
I
lip
reckon
now.
it's a rudd, mate.
Yeah, I reckon he is a rudd.
Yeah.
Gorgeous fish.
Nevertheless, stunning.
Ah.
Well, I've got another one, mate. He's bleeding fair, so I'm going to get him back. Just show you quickly. If you'll stop flapping. Another little perch. Very small one. Something took the sweet corn and this one must have gobbled him up. Happy days. So that's 2 perch, 1 rod. Let's get him back. There you go.
There we go. So I did flick Ryan's float out. I've shown him up straight away with a bigger rudd. Gorgeous fish, and yeah, slip him home.
Show me how it's done.
Multi-fish challenge.
Yeah. Still recording, yeah?
Yep.
Well guys, I spoke to one of the chaps that fishes here quite a lot. He put me onto a couple of spots that he raked out when the spot was really weedy, and true to his word, it's come good. This 15-pound 9 mirror, and I'm absolutely chuffed. Bit battered in places, but still. As you saw, I've done a bit of multi-species fishing, so I'm going to add this one to it, and I am over the moon. Show you the other side in a minute. There's the other side. Absolutely cracking. Beautiful grey mirror. I was beginning to think it was going to be a blank session. Clark was going to have the only carp of the session. But I've managed to bag myself one. And I'm absolutely chuffed. Let's get him back and hopefully mummy or daddy will be about somewhere.
Well, fish number 2, night number 2. Well, actually, morning number 3, let's say. So 4:45 in the morning. Just had a really nice scrappy common Taking up against those reeds again. I had a funny aborted take earlier on which I struck into. Just because, well, when you're fishing up against reeds and this fish is steaming on camera. Yeah, when you're fishing up against reeds and you get a few bleeps, you don't want to mess about. Don't wait for something to rip off. They could already be in them. I gave it a strike, nothing there. Got the rod back on 19 wraps, put it out, and what is it? It's 3 hours later, so pays off. They started showing out there. Got a bit of a crinkly tail. This is the other side. We haven't bothered weighing it, guessing about 12-13 pounds, but regardless, on your first visit to a water, 3 bites, 2 fish, you cannot grumble with. So his dorsal there, he's got a bit of a ganky dorsal as well. But stunning fish otherwise, absolutely nailed on my confidence rig. Happy days. Let's get him home. Cheers. Right, we're on our final morning here at Cummich. I'm in my waders, had to de-snag a fish for Ryan, and it's not the sort of fish you'd expect. It was about a 3-ounce rudd we managed to get into a branch. So yeah, using the opportunity to do a bit of bait waffle, to be honest. Since early this year I've been rolling a krill boilie. It's going to be a 4-season bait, high in bird foods, particle ingredients. Krill meal, pre-digested fish meal, low temperature fish meals. There's a lot more going into it, but obviously I can't give away everything. This is the bait itself. It's a nice orange bait. That literally comes from the spices alone. There's no dye in this bait. All of that orangey colour literally coming from the amount of spices that are being put into the bait. And for a boilie, typically on the market, as I like to do, it's quite a soft one. If you air dry it, it will go to stones. you aren't going to have problems putting that out in a throwing stick. What I've been fishing on is a nice long rig, little sinker just there, a little bit of a kicker, size 6/4 wide gape on a ring blowback. This is what I think's doing it for me. White hook bait. These white hook baits, I've been fishing larger ones. I've been feeding 16mm boilies, fishing an 18mm over the top. Something I've started to do recently that it's definitely starting to pick up a few fish. I know a lot of people like to fish a smaller hook bait, but well, if I'm going to be fishing in amongst weed, I'd rather have something large sat there so they can really see it. This rod has a pink tipper, the other rod is just a plain boilie by itself. Both of them corked out as well as tipped. I know Ryan's been using this over a lot of his bait. It's a real nice thick krill hydro. I mean, literally it has trouble coming out of, look at that. That is just something else. You literally have to squeeze it out of the bottle to get it to come out. It's something that we've only just really got in and we're going to be playing with over the next few months. But this is really what I wanted to get it for. A few of the testers have been using this, and yeah, it's not your typical paste. A lot of companies will sell paste, which is just matching to the boilie, which to be honest is flours, all those other ingredients, not what you actually want to make an attractive paste. This here is pure fish meal ingredients. It's krill hydro. We've got a smoked spices in there, we have several palatants, and which is tacky as anything. It's hard to shake off your finger, but a little dab of that, it only has to be a little dab onto a PVA bag, and it is some seriously attractive stuff. Benny Cox has been using it recently, he's had some great success here at Cummich and on his syndicate. These are the hook baits that I have been using. Coated in that krill hydro, just whitened up so they're nice and visual over the spot. Rolled these up recently. It's not something that's going to be sold, so if you are liking the look of them, I'm sorry to say these aren't available. Nothing of this is available to a general sale at the moment, but I've got to show you what we're using. And yeah, Ryan uses the old acid actives. Did you have a fish on a snowman last night?
I did, mate. SSK bottom bait with a whole 12mm yellow active acid, buddy.
Fair enough. I mean, anyone who's put their nose into a pot of these will know you can't get your nose back out of it. They are something else. But yeah, I mean, we're going to be testing the SSK over the winter. We're going to be emulsifying the base to check that the fish oils in the LT94 don't coagulate as it gets too cold. We want to make this an optimum 4-season bait so that you can keep putting it in, keep putting it in, and you've just got that consistent bait going out there that you can use all year round, keep the fish on it so they can really recognise it as a food source. A lot of people tend to chop and change baits a lot, but it doesn't really work in your favour if you're trying to figure out a lake and you're constantly adding extra variables to your fishing. It's always better to just stick to, say, one rig, one bait, and then fish location is what comes down to it thereafter. But yeah, basically I just thought I'd go into a little more. I'm sure that Ryan has gone on and on about it over the last few months, but it is a incredible bait. Like I say, no flavourings in this, no colourings in this. This is an all natural attractor bait. This is a proper food source. This isn't flavoured, coloured and branded like most baits on the market just to get you to buy it. This is a carp food. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it at all. But if you want to, next year, start of spring, there's going to be something bloody quality on the market, I can tell you. Because I put a lot of effort into what I do, and it pays off.
Well guys, that's the end of the session. It's been a pretty good and tough 48 hours. Clarky's managed to bag a couple in his first session, so well done, buddy.
That's it, I can't grumble with that, mate. You know, first 48-hour session, 3 takes, 2 fish. As far as we've been told, only 3 swims around the whole lake while we've been here have done carp, so
yeah,
we've done bloody well, mate.
Yeah, as I'm on 2 sessions where I've caught, so I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far. Not put in half the amount of time that I wanted to, so can only get better hopefully.
So it's only going to get shorter. The amount of time we're going to be able to fish is only going to get smaller and smaller for both of us soon. But
no, it's been a good session. It's been tough at times.
Indeed, mate, it's a gorgeous lake. I can definitely see myself coming back here, buying myself a season ticket and getting a bit of time in here. There's some absolutely fantastic fish in here from the photos I've seen, and well, from that big common we saw this morning.
That was a chunk.
That's a fish to bloody go for. I mean, it just has such a, from what it seems, a really nice head of upper 20 commons, which, you know, within a few years they should all be touching 30. This is certainly one for the future.
For sure, mate, for sure. But yeah, thanks for joining me, buddy.
No worries.
It's been a pleasure.
Fella. Let's get on home.
See you next time.